Recording. So, generally speaking, all I heard is that I don't know which Saturday was it. I'm looking at the calendar now.
Was it last week Saturday?
Last week Saturday, so that would be like 28 October. So 28 October there was ComXposed, and I'm assuming ComXposed was in Harare. Yes. So ComXposed is a yearly thing that happens in Harare, Zimbabwe. That's part one. Part two, they are also fighting game tournaments at this ComXposed. I'm assuming there's only one fighting game tournament.
Usually MK.
But I'm assuming that there are other things to do with comic books since it's called ComXposed. I don't know.
Here's what happens, right? At ComXposed, peeps, like for example, you, Charles, you can go there, showcase your art. And if you've got comic books that you've drawn yourself, you can actually showcase those comic books on Allow. And then there are certain events whereby peeps can also pull through and do cosplays. Like you can, like I think the star of the show during the ComXposed cosplay item was a chick in a sexy bunny costume,
Yeah, typical.
So I think she's the one who ended up winning because she was in real life in 4K. But in terms of FGC and video games, I'm pretty sure there's some there'll be video game stands where people can play about FIFA and all that. But then the main attraction for this particular ComXposed was Mortal Kombat, right? Now, here's the thing. When you look at the logo and all that, it's freaking Liu Kang's MK1 logo. But here's the thing. People were playing MK11. Right? So I ended up getting word the reason why there wasn't MK1 is because people mash. So the people that have arcades that have MK1, we're afraid that maybe people will match so hard that they break the joystick, the PS5 joysticks. So they'd rather opt for the PS4 game, which is MK11, because PS4 pads are cheaper to repair.
Hold on, can I just ask you one question? At this ComXposed, I'm assuming people are paying some form of entrance fees, or is it free to get?
I would like to believe there's an entrance fee, and also there's a participation fee if you want to play AMA tournament.
Okay, and $10 minimum. Okay, understandable. How many consoles did they have? Like, if they had held the MK1 tournament, even though they were scared of people mashing, how many consoles were they going to have to run this MK1 tournament?
Considering that there were close to 24 people who signed up to play the tournament, probably they were going to have at least 3 consoles or so. 3 or 4.
Okay, so let's assume 4 consoles, 2 joysticks each, of course, because 2 people are playing each other. That's 8 potential joysticks that could die. Okay. I'm going to Google the US dollar price for a PlayStation 5 controller just to put it into context.
And that one's about
no, Google it, Chelsea. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to Google it. Hold on, USD price. Getting prices in Czech crowns. Still getting prices in Czech crowns. Okay, it's wait, how much is that? While a typical PS5 controller will cost you around $70 per controller. This is just a random article, right? Everyone is saying, randomly $70, right? I guess that's a lot. You've got entrance, right? How many players did we say? 24?
24.
Let's say 24 players, and they were all paying that just $10. Or they were paying more. Okay, just $10. Registration fee. Okay, so technically they were only potentially going to make $240 just from the players who would be playing on this MK1, assuming that all joysticks will die. Which it's not likely, but it could happen, right? What if instead, maybe let's say 360. If they had said maybe $15 for the players, it would have been 360. The point I'm trying to make is that's not a good enough excuse, because you're charging people to attend the tournament, and I'm assuming this ComXposed has sponsors. I am assuming there's at least one company that sponsors this. At least one company that sponsors something. So if the sponsors are not sponsoring the event, what are they there for? Unless if they're there to just take money.
Like, I would like to believe, in terms of the gaming side of things, especially UMA tournaments, I believe the peeps up at ComXposed, they were the ones who funded the prize pool. So no sponsor actually jumped in and chipped in. Good, I know here's extra money to to give people even higher consoles. I believe this is coming out from the ComXposed pocket, right? Because I'd like to believe the sponsors mainly sponsored like the comic books and the cosplay side of things. But in terms of gaming, it was like what we would do at the courtroom. We would sponsor our own prize pools, our own tournaments and all that. So it's coming from their pocket. So here's the thing. The prize pool, it's not even a prize pool because it was winner take all. You're supposed to, if you win, you got $150 cash. That's the prize. Then if you're number 2, you get a consolation prize, whatever that consolation prize was, but probably it might have been a few comics and a few action figures here and there. So now, before this tournament actually happened, right, I would like to believe there was strong marketing for ComXposed, because I do remember seeing some ads on
Instagram. I saw it on Instagram. There was actually a registration online for Instagram and also Facebook.
Okay. Wait, is King still here? Oh no. So whilst we're waiting to see if King is still connected or not, it's like the point I'm trying to make as someone who's hosted tournaments and events before is that mechanical error, mechanical issues, things can break. It's a part of life. No matter how good an event you organize, something can break. A chair can break, a monitor can break, a headphone can break, anything can break. So I would assume that an organizer would take account for that, and based on that, it shouldn't be something that deters an event from happening. Fair and fine, I don't have the full scope of what exactly went wrong in terms of having MK1. I only know that King here was saying that the tournament organizers were scared that the players are still inexperienced, and most of them were not really playing so well, so the showcase might not have been so good, and this could in turn have endangered the joysticks. Where the evidence to that is coming from, because these players are playing somewhere. Wherever they are playing, I'm assuming the controllers still work till this day. So they are scared of joysticks that will break based on which joystick that has broken. Can you see what I mean? It just sounds to me like a not so thought out excuse.
Even if it was like that, they could have got a Bruce converter if they were afraid of them breaking the joypads. They could have just said PS5 is exclusive for top 8 or top 4 or whoever. So they could have used a Bruce converter, or they could have used a PC. So yeah.
Oh yeah, Actually, that's a very valid point. They could have ran that same MK1 tournament, just played it on PC. So generally, but you can see, tell what I mean, that this excuse of the joysticks breaking, in my opinion, sorry to say, is a very stupid excuse. Especially if you're talking about a big organized event. Whilst you, what's up?
I got disconnected again.
Yeah, we know. So it's like, yeah, please continue with the story.
Where
About there were no sponsors sponsoring the gaming side, only the comics and stuff, and the prize pools after that were split in a certain way.
Yes. And now the reason why that tournament didn't happen is because ZEGA and ComXposed never came to an agreement, right?
Yeah.
So now here's like a small backstory. So remember back in the day when Thomas tried to get connections with the government to, like, sponsor Esports Zim, right?
Yeah.
But it never went through. So now with ZEGA, they managed to win that particular, arrangement with the government, and also alongside another sports organization. Let me just go through my my PDFs real quick. Just give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Na. There we go. Na. Ish. Just give me a sec. Documents. Oh my God.
Interestingly enough, when I was speaking with a certain man by the name of Sasori asking about this situation, I got a response from him, and I'm going to search for it now. I'm just going to see if I can find my specific message. ComXposed.
It was quite big.
It's funny. Someone here called Takutsa, someone had posted a GIF of what's that character called in MK1? The one from Invincible, the bad Superman copy.
Omni-Man.
Someone posted Omni-Man, a GIF of him like doing his parry dodge like move. And this Takutsa guy was like, ZEGA dodging ComXposed. Okay, I found my messages. There we go. So I messaged Sasori saying, you don't want to make a podcast episode talking about what happened at ComXposed. I'm shocked that I'm hearing this from other people and not from you. So that's what I said. Some people responded with stickers, and this Takutsa guy is like, there's no problem there. I don't know who this guy is. He's like, there's no problem there. Then Sasori came in to say, maybe because I was the one who was blamed. So Sasori claims that he was blamed for whatever happened. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, but Sasori, that's what he said.
This is a new dimension.
And then I went on to message saying that, do you want to sit down on an episode and explain your side of the story? People were talking about random stuff. Then there was the Omni-Man GIF and ZEGA dodging ComXposed. And Sasori's final response was, I think I'll skip this one. I know my side. Everyone knows my side. There's no need to add more. There's no need to add more. The same person who told you even knows, but conveniently forgot to mention this. We can talk about how Omni-Man looks cool though. And then that's where I left the conversation. Then that's when people were talking about ZEGA dodging ComXposed. So his words, not mine. He never told me about this, or he was not interested in talking about this because he claims that he was blamed for it. But he knows his side of the story. Everyone, in his words, everyone knows his side of the story. And the person who told me, who's Sage, knows Sasori's side of the story. But, they just choose to blame him without, taking into consideration his side of the story. So I had asked him, do you want to come sit down? Do you want to come talk about what happened? And he refused. He wasn't interested. He was like, whatever. So also this... Takutsa guy sent me a message. I didn't like message him back because I honestly don't know who this is. I don't want to respond to people who it's like you don't know who you're responding to. He was like, I think you need to understand the full picture of what happened. Then he sent me a poster, and then he's like, these are the guys responsible for all of that. And the poster was some ZEGA Games Summit. So he wanted me to message them directly. but I don't know him and I don't know this ZEGA Game Summit people, so I'm not really going to message people without knowing exactly who they are or where they are coming from. Yeah, so that was now me sticking out of that, because you don't know who has power and who has influence. You end up talking with people who get you into trouble, so I didn't bother with that one. Have you found your document?
Yes, I have. So now ZEGA is actually under the Sports and Recreation Commission of Zimbabwe, which is also an affiliate organization with the Ministry of Sports, right? So, hey, have I been disconnected again?
No, still here.
Oh, okay. Jesus. Okay, so now what was supposed to happen was the ComXposed guys were supposed to come through and inform ZEGA that they are having this particular tournament. So now, since ZEGA has, these administrative powers in a sense, they have the right to approve and disapprove tournaments from happening. Yeah, well, that already sounds like a shitty thing to do, but it's one of those, if you want to make yourself known, rather you introduce yourself in the right. I can open out of the blue and then you say good hi. People shouldn't have tournaments up. So now the reason why this summit is happening is because they now want to tell people that they want, to create a ranking system in a sense. For FIFA, we are going to have such and such players that'll be under.
Oh no, and is gone again. Yeah, I've got an idea of what I'll do, but just to talk about this with you. So apparently this summit is a group of people, right, and probably under the government, who can approve or disapprove any tournament from happening. My question to that is, if I decide to have my own event in my neighborhood with my friends, maybe I know 50 gamers, for example, and I'm able to invite all of them for a 50-person competition with a lot of money, but it's me and my friends and it's a private event, then does that give them the authority to come and disapprove it because they didn't know about it, that I'm not registered under them to do my own private thing? It doesn't make any sense to me how this is even a reality, considering that this was not even the first year ComXposed happened. It's not a new thing, you know what I mean? ComXposed has been happening. So hopefully King will come back and continue, but so far the whole story that at least King has talked about stinks, because first issue is, we're gonna play MK11 instead of MK1 because we are in fear of our controllers for the PlayStation 5 because they're expensive. They could have calculated that in the entrance fees and gotten a sponsor to also pay. Bear in mind, like I said, they are scared of joysticks that could break, but there is no broken joystick yet. So it's like you're scared of something that's not even real. It's a hypothetical that you're scared of, which is not even guaranteed to happen, but it's not the point. They could have calculated that when setting their prices of entry to compensate for potential breaking of equipment, but they didn't. Secondly, you could just host the whole tournament on PC, where every single joystick, including fake-ass China joysticks, can work, but they didn't do that either. Then you have this regulation board that steps in and tells you if you can or cannot do a tournament based on whether they like you or not. And then I come up with the example of, what if it's me and my private event, like we used to do with the Cold Room Wars, and it's me and my friends, it's our money, it's our prizes, and we are streaming it for ourselves. Do they still then have the right to step in and tell me what I can and cannot do with my own private free time?
Okay. Now, to answer that particular question there, Razo,
yeah.
I know with community events, like just us as a crew, we can have our own community events, right? Like Uguti Arcade here too is the one that is having a local based tournament, like tournament here arcade. It's fine. But then now if you want to bring in citywide competition, and there ZEGA has to be informed on what's happening.
Define citywide.
Like, all right, Andwa in Bulawayo, for example,
Yeah.
instead of us just doing the cold room tournament, let's just say this is a tournament that will also include niggas from HNS, BC, Lopengula, Mziligas, because all arcades within Bulawayo coming together to have or to participate in a certain tournament.
Okay.
There, ZEGA has to be informed on what's going on.
But isn't that what the cold room was doing? Because, for example, each player is coming from different parts of the city, so technically that's city-wide still, right? It's not that the players were only coming from one neighborhood.
Yeah, true. Because I do remember inside this WhatsApp group, which they view arcade as some sort of like clubs, yabo. So you are representing a certain arcade. Okay, I'm not sure. Before I got cut, did I talk about the ranking system that they wanted to implement?
No.
I mentioned it.
No.
Huh?
No.
I didn't.
No.
But there's a ranking system that they want to implement. So this ranking system will be associated with all manner of arcades within the country. Yeah. So, for example, if the code room was still a thing, we'll have our code room ranks, our HNS ranks, our BC ranks. Then maybe we take the top 3 for each and every arcade on a layer, and then we have our main event tournament. So now I think where things just went wrong was nothing was established by any party. Like ZEGA didn't establish themselves with well, the administrative board here, Esports, but us ones will give you a through pass so that lens lead that. But otherwise, next time talk to us and then you guys can jab your games and do your tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I for one, and I think ZEGA's heart is in the right place, but the way they introduce themselves and the way they want to try and force their way in is not right. Yeah, because I'm not sure if Dalu told you or Mr. Dalu or Uchi I'm supposed to go to South Korea.
I didn't hear about that.
You didn't hear?
I only saw Miss like today, so you probably forgot to mention.
Oh, okay.
Today.
So I got I'd gotten a message from one of these Harare owns that they needed a certain individual needed a representative to go and represent Zim in South Korea for like a training workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or like a training camp for Tekken 7, right? So I contacted the owner ZEGA and he explained everything to me and he told me what I have to register to be under ZEGA, to be as a registered player. Yeah. So I paid that registration fee, and then all of a sudden, like the letters of guarantee, letters of invitation, and all that, they started coming through. And I managed to send my papers to the embassy in Harare on Thursday. So once the visa comes out, then I'm set, I'm good to go. So like this ZEGA guys, the reason why they want to implement this ranking system is in preparation for the world championships that are happening in Saudi Arabia, right? So this world
Why do I smell something foul as soon as you said Saudi Arabia? You can continue. Continue.
Oh my God! All right, maybe you know something that I don't, but that's what they're trying to implement. Would each and every city has its own top player, and then there'll be qualification tournaments to determine who has to go and represent Zimbabwe for these particular games. So these genres that are included are your FIFA games, your sports games, fighting games, and I am not sure if they're going to include MOBAs like your Dota 2s and League of Legends. But I hear Uguchi they're also working on a team in League of Legends at the moment. But I think they're in contact with Abantu Harare, so they haven't spoken to anyone from Bulawayo yet.
Yeah.
Mhm. So that's the reason why ZEGA is just trying to push all of this in such a short space. Because if anything, they could have just made their presence known and tuned out. I know our songs were like this, sends are so, and that's it. Everyone would have gone home happy.
Sorry, continue.
No, so she's fair.
D2?
What I had wanted to say was the execution. It's just that when you don't explain what your purpose is according to the community, that's where things messed up. Two, some people registered for that event online. So when you just cancel it
Yes.
off, that gives a bad
They are
taste.
not reimbursed. I don't think people got reimbursed.
Yeah, some people registered online on the Instagram. It said send your money like via your EcoCash wallets, and they'll send you a link what your ticket. So the execution was done poorly. We don't know what ZEGA is. They could have done all this like maybe the marketing when everyone was there. That would have been the best way for them to introduce themselves.
True.
We don't really know who these guys are. We just saw just a picture and we were like, it's GG's. See a picture and it's ended.
I'll step in and play devil's advocate here. Who gives them the authority to cancel tournaments? Who gave them the authority to cancel tournaments? That's the thing. It's like if you're going to have some board organization, firstly someone has to want it, right? And then if someone wants it, it's instated somehow, officially. When it's instated, then it's announced. When it's announced, it's initialized. And then there's registration. So how is it that it was already at register or be cancelled, yet no one even asked for them to exist? They just made themselves exist and gave themselves power. To me, the story doesn't make any sense because, to be honest with you, okay, fine, there's ZEGA, cool. So that means technically I can make my own and just come cancel tournaments as well, right? Because technically speaking, there is no protocol to follow. I can just be an organization and come cancel everything. That ZEGA is doing actually. I can come and cancel that and say they never registered to me.
Yeah.
What procedure is being followed? Because now I want an organization and ZEGA needs to respond to me. And if they don't, I'm canceling South Korea then. That's my question. I don't know. King, did you get my previous point? Oh, it's gone again. Yeah, go ahead, D2.
I was saying it's like imagine if this was like maybe football. People would be fuming. Imagine like let's say our local football with your Dynamos and your Caps United. And then maybe you've got some new teams just jumping into the scene. Then all of a sudden they cancel the Chimbuko. A new organization jumps in and like we're canceling the Chimbuko because you guys were creating a new ranking system. That will leave a bad taste in people's mouths. People talk about.
Yeah.
Then another thing that what it looks like is like if you noticed the last Tekken World, I don't know if Tekken tournament that was held in Saudi Arabia, it had multiple countries like it's Kenya, Cameroon,
AESF, that's the tournament.
South Africa. Yeah. So it looks like they're trying to make money through that. So that's why they're trying to like jump in and take control of all that. But that's also still bad. Without clarifying anything, they want to make money, but at the same time, they don't want to explain the process. We are fine with them making money, but explain the process. Don't just force it down the afterwards. Now we have to go through loophole. So, what is this?
King, did you catch my last point before you disconnected?
No. What did you say?
I was saying that. Let me try backtrack. It's like this. It's like who gave them the right to have authority over people, firstly. And this person who gave them the right to do this got this right from where? Because the point I was trying to make is, let's say you want to instate an organization. First, there must be a need for the organization. Someone or something must need organization. When a need is identified, then you can form an organization. When the organization is formed, then you must instate it, officially instate an organization, whether that's through some protocols or some vote or some anything. When that organization is then instated, it can start, it can initialize. When it initializes, it must then announce that yes, we have been formed, we have been stated.
Yes,
this is our rule book or guidelines or whatever you want to call it. This is how we are going to work. This is the roadmap. This is the power we have been given, and it has been initialized. Now register. So if the players didn't have a need or want an organization of some kind, if the spectators didn't want it, who wanted it?
Yeah.
So now, if you can identify who wanted it, then you can identify why it's there. Because if you never wanted it, if ComXposed never wanted it, if no one who was there wanted it, then it's not in their vested interest. Then whose interest is it in? For what? That's my only question. Who gave the power to them? And the person who gave them this power got it from where? Because I never gave it to them. The counter argument to this is, if they can then do things this way, bypassing all protocol, then therefore I have an organization. It's called 4 years wasted, and I'm actually cancelling ZEGA because they didn't register to me. That's how business is being done, right?
It's a standard that just popped from nowhere. Doesn't make sense.
I'd like to believe with this, just like with this whole ZEGA situation in ComXposed, there's a lot of political connotations involved, and you know, I know one of them being ZEGA is directly under the Ministry of Sports, right? So they were given the authority to supervise and make and administer all manner of esports within Zimbabwe. Even if people are are just jamming your simple FGC event, even though people tried by all means to make the FGC associate itself with esports, but to them, any form of competitive play and with the prize pool and all that is esports to them. So that means they have the right to say hayi into eliyenzayo siyayivuma lingaqhubeka, or nah, we do not like what you guys are doing, rather you try next time or whatever. We're still here to find out more information about how ZEGA wants to do things, and whoever is going to attend the summit in Harare, I think we'll finally get a bigger picture on what exactly is going on.
Again, the execution was poor.
Yeah, the execution. Yeah, like what you're saying, Tal, the execution was poor. The way they introduced themselves just was not it. You know, like what you say, Charles, you should have at least made yourself known what you are a thing.
It's not even about make yourself known that you're a thing. Who voted for you?
Exactly.
Who?
because there was no survey that was done, no research whatsoever. What do we really need an esports body that is supposed to, cater for all manner of esports in Zim? No, asikwazi kuna look, but they're doing.
But according to us, ever since we started gaming, was there even esports even till this day?
No.
We've been searching around. There was no esports.
Nope.
None.
And even in the past, when we approached these companies looking for sponsorships, they all denied. So why now? Why Saudi Arabia? What's the game? I don't know. These to me are the questions that need answers. Because at the end of the day, it's like this. No matter, even if there are some like undertones of like the higher levels are in charge of this, okay, we understand, right? If ever there is some organization, like you're saying, sports, Ministry of Sports, okay, I understand. Esports was never really recognized as a sport. It never was. Right, it never was. There was never really a thing as esports. Fine, we understand. The sports, right, however you want to call them, were bunched up into that ministry because they were recognized as sports. People passed each other. There were legislation that was passed. People voted on this legislation, and then it happened. Now someone sees that esports is an opportunity, but no legislation is passed, no vote is passed. Therefore, whatever decision is made is unofficial, which means any power that's granted is unofficial. Which then means if anyone wants to turn their back, they can turn their back and leave people in the mud, because everything is unofficial. Everything was done in an improper way. Like I said, ZEGA didn't register to me. So why are you going to South Korea? Did you get my approval? No. Well, I'm in power also. Since that's how we do business, I'm in power too, and I have power over ZEGA. If anyone who will listen to this can answer these questions truthfully, then I would like to hear. Because last I checked, I never voted for this. I hope it pulls through into something good. For once, it would be nice, honestly. If they really do make it nice, you guys get to go to South Korea, you have that experience, it might lead to some opportunity. That would be nice. But I have a strong feeling that it won't work that way. Because even how the conception is already shady. So I don't know. It would have been nice to have this Takutswa guy or to have this Sasori to come and explain, because it seems like they know what's going on. Sasori says he was blamed. What was he blamed for? I don't really know. But he claims he was blamed for something. It would be nice to know what he was blamed for. Because maybe Sasori actually has all the information as to how this organization began, when it started, who passed what legislation where, who voted what way. Maybe he actually knows all of this. But I don't. So at least if he could give people the information, or the people he said he was blamed and the people who know his side of the story know his side of the story. So at least if those people could speak, because I assume that's what community means, then there is more transparency and information in the scene. But as far as I can tell, there's not much. Because anyone who's talking about it doesn't seem to really know the full story. And everyone has a different story. Even Sage has his own story. You know what I mean? So you can't tell me that it's as obvious as people say it would be. So I don't know. I feel like this was something that had to be said. And no better time than now to say it. Hopefully then it starts some type of conversation when people listen to this. And those who know more can then explain. I think it would be better that way. So I don't know, do any of you have any final words before we end this one?
we find out what our have is we'll need more information from these people. At least can they give us more insight before we make a final verdict? Because it's already we're in the woods at the moment. Right now, it's just, we're just speaking. We're just guessing at the moment.
Yeah, that is so true.
We're assuming we have facts at the moment.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. King, any last words from your side, man?
Like, I agree with Utar. Like, this summit that's supposed to happen tomorrow, I hope all manner of questions are answered and we finally get a proper introduction as to who ZEGA is and what they're supposed to do and their main function in general, right? And for one, I mean, I'm like end of November, towards the end of November, I won't be in Zimbabwe. I'll be in South Korea for like a couple of days. And of course, this is an opportunity that was brought to me by ZEGA. So one can say we can give them a chance and see where it goes. Right?
Yeah.
So it's 50-50. Like, it's okay for people not to trust them, but if they're willing to try by all means to earn people's trust, then ngabayenze, let them do.
Yeah, we'll have to see. My only fear is that, like most things I've seen happening before, people act nice in the beginning only to, use and abuse later on. And the last thing I would want is for, firstly, people I know to fall under someone's, plan and get used and abused, or for the entire community as a whole to be used and abused. That would be even worse. So we'll see. I'm just saying worst case scenario. I'm not saying what I'm saying is true, but I'm standing on the opposite side to point out things that could happen, right? Because remember, in the beginning, the MK1 tournament didn't happen because someone pointed out that joysticks could die. So I'm also pointing out that joysticks can die. Just to return the favor to those motherfuckers. Joysticks can die. I'm also doing it now with this. So let's see what happens. So no, it's okay. We'll keep this one short, and then when we get more information, we'll record another one. So for everyone who's been listening to this, thank you. Please leave your comments at the bottom, especially if you know what the hell is going on. You should be the person who's typing up in the comment section right now. We will see with this summit what happens. And yeah, for now, I guess it's just question marks everywhere. We'll see. Maybe this could actually be the best thing that ever happened to the esports scene in Zimbabwe. If it will be, then good for them and good for the people who will get there. So for now, we'll be signing off, and we'll see you next time on the Spiral Arrow podcast.